All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 2 of the Simply Pips Back to School for Newbies. I want to state here that we are not following any specific template for this class. However, we would cover most of the basic things that a newbie should know before proceeding into this mountain or valley, whichever you want to call it, of trading. If you want to know more, I'll suggest you go to this website, babypips.com. Go to babypips.com. Once you go to babypips.com, find your way to this menu here, education, and then scroll down and click on Start Learning. Click on Start Learning. I would suggest that you join rather than sign in here. Rather than sign in, you can click on join here. Once you click on join, it will ask you to create a profile. If you create a profile, what it does is that it gives you are able to track your education. So if I click on Start Learning right now, it takes me to the School of Pipsology, right? And they have a very funny way of welcoming way of passing information across. So you could check your track record, like lessons completed 168 of 358. You could check to know how far you've gone. Never mind the fact that it's 358. They are very short lessons, right? So you get started from preschool. There are just one of 11 courses here. You start from preschool. It takes you to what is Forex and all the likes, and you could learn some of the basic things that I'll be teaching here. I won't go deep in this back to school. For instance, I won't be discussing Hikinashi, Elliott waves, or harmonic patterns and the likes, because I don't use them in that format. Right, but we'll be discussing most of the basic things you need as to trade. Just a moment, please. All right, so that is that about introduction. I will continue from where we stopped yesterday. If you were here with us yesterday, kindly put a 2 in the chat box. If you are here with us yesterday, please put a 2 in the chat box. Great. Remember, this is a newbie. So for newbies, if you are old, some of the things you might be looking too basic. But again, thank you for coming. All right, so we have quite a number of persons who were with us yesterday. We'll proceed today. Yesterday, I mentioned that we trade pairs, right? So I decided to, let me just quickly spend 3-5 minutes on it before we move on. We trade pairs, and I think I gave an example using Euro AUD yesterday. So let's say you have Euro USD. The very first currency is called the base currency, and the second currency is called the quote currency, right? If you are like me, I find it difficult remembering all these terminologies. So I just like saying the first currency and the second currency, and it's as simple as that, right? Nobody pays you money for, this isn't WAEC or anything. Nobody pays you money for knowing that the name of the first one is called base currency, right? But technically it's called base currency or the first currency, and this is called the quote currency or the second currency, right? So again, the second currency is the currency pair, the one on the right-hand side from the slash is called the counter currency or quote currency. For example, in Euro USD, the base currency is Euro and USD is the counter currency. Now, look at this. Think of the base currency as the root. When you buy, for example, Euro USD, it means that you are buying the base currency, which is Euro, and simultaneously selling the quote currency, which is USD. Remember yesterday I said it over half a dozen times that when we are trading, what you are doing is you are doing buying and selling, right? And I gave an example of you having Naira and you're buying, let's say, an automobile or cement. So the first transaction you do in a buy is that you give your Naira and then you collect your cement. So in trading, what we say you are doing is that you are selling your Naira to collect cement. So when you say you are buying cement, you're actually selling. Take sell to mean that it is leaving you to go somewhere, and buy means it is leaving somewhere else to come to you. So if you are buying Euro USD, in this case, for instance, it's like you are, let's read it from here. When you buy, for example, Euro USD, it means that you are buying Euro and that you are selling USD. That's what it means. So if you are buying cement, it means that you are selling your Naira and then you are collecting cement. For the transaction to be completed, you must do the opposite side. So I just need to explain this. When we get to pips and all the likes, it will come in handy in the examples that we'll give. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. I want to discuss these currency pairs. There are several in the world, but those that have USD are called major pairs. And of course, those that don't have USD in them are called minor pairs. USD here is United States dollar. USD as used here is United States dollar. And there are some few ones I want to share with us. So here we have currency pairs. Again, this table here shows these vertical lines, the ones going downwards like this, are the first currency or the base currencies, and this is the quote currency or the second currency. Now we'll be discussing the popular pairs, right? So, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 popular pairs. Everyone that has USD is called a major pair, and the one without USD is called a minor pair. So we have 8 popular pairs. The first currency here is AUD, and it means Australian dollar. The second one is called CAD, and it's called the Canadian dollar. Then we have CHF, we pronounce it as CHF. That is the Swiss franc, right? That is the currency for France. We call it the Swiss franc. That is CHF. Then we have Euro, and of course it is EUR, we call it Euro. Then we have GBP, it stands for the Great British Pound. Then we have JPY, this stands for the Japanese yen. The Japanese yen. Then we have NZD, this stands for the New Zealand dollar. And then we have the USD, this is United States dollar. Of course, by first glance, you can have 4 types of dollars here: the Australian dollar, the Canadian dollar, the New Zealand dollar, and the US dollar. Right? These are the popular currencies. Popular currencies that are traded when it comes to Forex. Remember, I say everything we're discussing is not only on Forex, but we're using Forex because it seems to be the most liquid and the most popular, right? So we have the popular pairs as first and also popular pairs as second. So we trade one popular pair for another. In Forex, we trade a pair. Like I said, Naira, cement. In this case, we are trading one currency pair for another, right? So here we have AUD and AUD. Of course, you can't trade AUD for AUD. So this place here is blank, right? So when you have AUD and CAD, we call it AUD card. Now, for old guys, this looks very, very simple. But I remember when I was learning to trade, sometimes I find it difficult to remember if it is AUD card or card AUD. Right? As simple as it is, I find it difficult to remember. And when I started learning, I was introduced to trading view pretty much early. And you'll be surprised that there is something called card AUD, right? On trading view, it will give you card AUD. But you need to know that in the Forex world, that there is nothing like card AUD. You rather have AUD card. Right on my screen, you can see card AUD. Right? Like many of us are used to Euro USD. If you come to trading view, you put USD Euro, you get a pair. You get a pair, right? But when we are trading in Forex as retail traders, as brokers, yes, they may have it at the back end. But as retail traders, again, I will explain that terminology later on. What we have is Euro USD, which is why I'm taking my time to explain this table. Before I proceed, I must give some general rules to make it easy for you to remember how to arrange your pairs. Number one, JPY is always the quote currency, or let's use second currency. JPY is always the second currency. JPY can never be the first currency. It's always the second currency. So if you put JPY with AUD, it has to be AUD JPY. If you put JPY with USD, it has to be USD JPY. If you put JPY with GBP, it has to be GBP JPY. It can never be JPY GBP. So just know that JPY is always the second currency. Another one you need to have at the back of your mind is CHF. CHF is always the second currency, except for one currency, which is JPY. Remember, I told you JPY is always the second currency. Right? Rule number one, JPY is always the second currency. Then CHF is another currency that is always the second currency, unless when paired with JPY, that is always the second currency. In that case, CHF has to be the first currency. Right? So here you have CHF JPY. But in any other instance, CHF must be the second currency. You see that? CHF must be the second currency, except when you mix it with JPY. Rule number one, JPY must be the second currency. Then CHF will then be the first currency. So that is the only instance where CHF becomes the first currency, when it pairs with JPY. Otherwise, it will become the second currency. Right? Those are some general rules on how to pair pairs. Aside that, then we can proceed. So for AUD and card, it is called AUD card. AUD and CHF, remember CHF always is the second currency. It will be AUD CHF. Then AUD JPY is, compare out to JPY is AUD JPY. Out to NZD is AUD NZD. And out to USD is AUD USD. Right? So you get that. For card, the same thing. Right? So that's how we put the pairs together. If you're a newbie, it might take you some time, depending on how frequently you visit the charts, to get a hand of how to put these pairs together. But if you have JPY and CHF at the back of your mind, then you learn it faster, and then it becomes easy to know what your pairs are, right? I'll take a pause at this point and take you to the very first slide in this slide. I used to use this slide some years back, I think 4 or 5 years back, right? And I like starting from these 5 levels of trading. I'll just discuss it briefly and then we'll move on with our training for today. There are basically 5, or let me say 6 levels of trading. If you're a newbie, you are practically at level 1. And I want you to notice that this is like a pyramid. In level 1, you are learning, right? Let me state here. Your goal is to reach the top level as quickly as possible, as you can with the lowest possible risk. To do this, you need a mentor. You can't do this. Most people can't do this on their own. You need a mentor, right? But let's leave that for another day. You are presently at level 1, and no matter what you do, and I'm being frank with you here, I don't care what any other person tells you. No matter what you do at level 1, you will lose lots of money. No matter what you do at level 1, you will lose lots of money. There is no shortcut. Unfortunately, there is no shortcut. If you're in this industry and you're planning to make money out of this industry, just know that at level 1, you will lose, not you may, you will, guaranteed, lose money. Right? So if anybody is telling you to use your school fees if you're a student, or to use your children's school fees, or to use your rent, or to sell your property and go into trading, and you are a newbie, that person isn't your friend. You will lose lots of money. So at this point, we tell people to rather trade with what we call a demo account, a demonstration account. And we'll be looking at that on Wednesday. On Wednesday, we spend our time on only MT4. And I'll show you guys how to open a demonstration account. So have at the back of your mind that you lose a lot of money. Now notice that as a pyramid, it gets thinner as it moves upward. So let's say there were 1,000 persons that started this, right? Some people will drop off, will fall off, right? And by the time we're at level 2, this would have dropped to like 800. Why will 200 people fall off? They will fall off because they came into level 1 thinking that trading is an easy way to make money. If you heard me yesterday, I said trading is a difficult way of making easy money. It's more or less like you are plucking money off the thin air with your mobile phone or your laptop. And that makes it easy. But it is actually a difficult way of making that easy money. So if you are coming into, if your friend invited you to this training and is telling you that you can make money and the likes, well, thank your friend for inviting you, but have at the back of your mind that at level 1, which perhaps you are in presently, you'll be losing. So this is not the time to use your own money, your sweat and blood to trade. This is the time to learn, right? Once you learn and get more conversant, you get to level 2. At level 2, you will still lose, unfortunately. But this time you'll be losing less money, not lots of money. You'll be losing less money, right? Again, maybe 600 people will get to that top, to level 3. Why? Most people who will fall off from level 2 will feel that I've been losing money for 4 months. By now, I should be making money, but they'll still be losing. These people forget that they went to school. Let's take university. They went to university and spent 4 years only to get a certificate without guarantee that that certificate will feed them. Yet, they went to school. So some people come with unrealistic expectations, thinking that once I start trading 1 year down the line, I'll build a house in Banana Island. There is nothing further from the truth than that assumption. If it does happen, and it does happen, it is 1 out of tens of thousands. And there's no guarantee that you'll be that one. So just know from now that it's a long journey and that you should give yourself at least 1 year to stabilize. When you get to level 3, 400 persons would have fallen out already. You get to a point where you are stalled. You are making money. Remember, level 1 and 2, you are not even making money at all. You are just throwing money away. At level 3, you begin to make some money, but you also be losing money, right? So at this point, you are still losing, but it's no longer a lot. It's just a little. You are still making and losing a little or a lot. So, but you know, you are just there. You are stalled. At this point, you're a break-even trader. When you get to level 4, most times you have just 400 persons here out of the lot of 1,000 that started. At this point, you are beginning to make some level of money. And most people at this point would have gone through a mentorship, a proper mentorship program, right? They would have discovered that YouTube videos or attending lectures like I'm giving you now isn't going to make you profitable. They will look for a mentor and then begin to learn from that mentor over a period of time. And they begin to make consistent cash flow. Maybe $50 a month, $20, $50 a week, $20, even $50 a month. Yes, just little. Then they consolidate on what they have learned, and then they move to level 5. At that level 5, I can tell you from experience, there will be only like 100 persons here. At this point, you are beginning to build wealth, right? If you are a Simply Pips, will tell you at this point to get into prop firms, right? And at the top level here, there will usually be just 50 persons, right? Which puts it at about 5% of the whole lot. This is the main club. These guys make money consistently, right? And they can plan their life around the money that they are making, right? They can plan their life around the money that they're making. This is where you want to get to. I just have to show you this before we move on. So you have at the back of your mind, there's a Herculean tax, right? So those 5% are the successful people. Before they get to that point, people say, oh, they are successful. He's living in his own house. He has 1 or 2 cars, and he's, he's living large or he's living well. What they don't see is the persistence, the failure, the sacrifice, the disappointments, the good habit, the hard work, and the dedication that you have put in. All right, so I'm done with that. Let's move on with our lecture. So we've discussed the popular currency pairs. The next thing we want to look at is what is the best time to trade these pairs? We've looked at the popular currency pairs here. Now the question is, what is the best time to trade these pairs? You'll notice that in Forex, there are more than 28 pairs, right? We focused only on 8, right? So if I go back to this slide, you see the map of the world, right? You have Canada there, you have Greenland, you have Brazil, and then you have the giant of Africa, Nigeria here. You have China and Australia there. Each of these countries have their own currencies, and these currencies can be traded in the Forex market. Outside the popular ones I just mentioned, each of these countries have currencies, and these currencies can be traded in the Forex market. The question becomes, what is the best time to trade these currencies? Right? What is the best time to trade them? Somebody said they can't hear me again. Is that true? Is it true that you can't hear me again? Anybody to confirm?
We can hear you clear.
Okay, great.
We can hear you.
Fidelis, it is your own network. Right? So some people come into trading, especially newbies, and some people that are actually old, and they just come with this false belief that because Forex can be traded 24/5, that is 24 hours, 5 days, or even 5 days and a half a week, that you can just come in at any point in time and trade it. The answer is absolutely no. Even though you can trade it at any time of the day, there are times of the day that it is best to trade certain pairs. There are times of the days that are best to trade certain pairs, right? I'll give you a very, I'll give you one example to explain this. The currency used in Nigeria is the Nigerian naira, right? Unfortunately, you can't find it in the popular currency pairs, right? And it is we write it as NGN, Nigerian naira. Now I'm going to ask in the chat box. Okay, let me not ask. Let me just move on. The country that uses Nigerian naira the most is Nigeria. And if you are going to do any serious business with Nigeria or with a business in Nigeria, you should be doing that business around the time that the banks in Nigeria are functioning. Banks in Nigeria typically work from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Right? Banks in Nigeria typically work from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And in extension, you can do business with them, you know, around this time, give plus or minus 2 hours. So that gives you between 8 hours to 10 hours, plus or minus, right? You want to do business with the banks. If you want to do business with a Nigerian customer or a Nigerian bank, when is the best time amongst these 2 times, I'm going to write on the chart, on the screen, is the best time to engage in business with them? Here are the 2 times. 10 a.m. Nigerian time and 1 a.m. Nigerian time. Put your answer in the chat box. If you want to do business with a Nigerian bank or a Nigerian person, when is the best time to do business? Is it going to be 10 a.m. Nigerian time or 1 a.m. Nigerian time? Obviously, the answer is going to be 10 a.m. Nigerian time because that falls between when the banks are open, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you do business around 1 a.m., you won't find many Nigerian people to deal with, right? So you'll be trading when Naira is not easy to exchange. That is exactly the same thing when it comes to trading. There are times that is the best time to trade certain pairs. It doesn't mean you can't trade them outside those times, right? And that will take me to a website I want to show you. It's called the Forex Time Zone Converter. So the website is forex.timezoneconverter/time zone, or just Forex Time Zone Converter, forex.timezoneconverter.com. Once you come here, by default, the time zone will be GMT. You will need to change this time zone to your own time. For instance, I'm in Lagos and I'm in Nigeria. So my time zone in Nigeria is GMT +1. I'm going to look for Africa, Lagos. When I click on Africa, Lagos, it will repopulate this. Now, I want you to notice something. We have 5 popular Forex market center. Now, I keep using the word popular. I'll show you an example before I come back here. Let me show you an example before I come back. Here's my MT4. If I click on show all here, you will notice that aside the popular pairs I mentioned in that PDF, we have some other pairs that are not there, like CZK. This is Czech Republic Koruna, right? That is the Euro Czech Republic Koruna. We have Euro and the Danish krone. We have the euro and the Mexican peso, MXN. We even have the euro and the Norwegian krone. These are not popular pairs. People don't trade them that much, right? So that's why I don't call them, we're not looking at them. Same thing here. There are more than 5 Forex market center. But these are the popular ones. These are the ones that have liquidity. These are the ones that have money flowing in them in the millions and the billions of dollars, right? So you want to deal with them. The first one here is called the Frankfurt Forex Market Center. In Nigerian time, this market opens at 7 a.m. and it closes at 3 p.m. Presently, this market is closed. The next one is the London, right? And it opens at 8 a.m. Nigerian time and closes 4 p.m. Nigerian time. Again, as at now, this market is closed. These two put together, Frankfurt and London, we call the European session, or we simply call the London session. The two is called the European session, or we call them the London session. New York on its own is called the New York session. And these two put together, we call the Asia session. So again, what we've done is that we've broken these 5 sessions into 3. We have the Europe session or the London session, right? We have the New York session, and then we have the Asia session. As at now, the only session that is open is the New York session. And it will be closing in about 23 minutes. It will be closing in about 23 minutes. The next one that will be open after the New York closes is the Sydney. That's Australia. It opens 11 p.m. and usually there's 1 hour between the Sydney and the Tokyo, right? If Sydney opens 10, Tokyo open 11. If Sydney opens 11, Tokyo open 12. Same thing with Frankfurt and London, right? So at about 11 p.m., the guys in Australia will be waking up and going to their bank. That will be 8 a.m. for them, right? 11 p.m. Nigerian time will be 8 a.m. for the guys in Sydney. And 12 a.m. Nigerian time will be 8 a.m. for the guys in Tokyo. Now, to put it in context, Frankfurt and Germany trade in certain currencies. The London session or the European session trade in certain currencies. So here we have the euro. We also have the Great British Pound. So the euro, the Great British Pound, if you want to trade them, it's better to trade them around London session, because the banks that are dealing in euro and GBP are awake and functional around that time. Of course, if you want to trade New York, what is popular here, of course, sorry, something happened here. Just a moment. Aha. So let me continue. If you, of course, here you have the Swiss franc, CHF. Swiss franc. It's also in Europe. Now for New York, you have the USD and the CAD. Canada is just, almost the same time zone with USD. So here we have the USD and CAD. Then here in Asia, we have the New Zealand dollar, NZD. We have the Australian dollar, AUD. and we have the Japanese yen, JPY. So which pair is missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those were the 8 popular pairs we discussed earlier. Right? Now, remember we trade in pairs. We trade in pairs. If you come at 10 a.m. Nigerian time, I'm asking a question now. Which of these 2 pairs will be best for you to be looking at trading? Pair number 1 is Euro USD or AUD JPY. Please put your answer in the chat box. Just type 1 or 2. You are coming to trade at 10 a.m. Nigerian time. Which among these 2 pairs would you think is the best for you to consider trading? I want answers from the newbies, basically. As simple as this thing is, even some traders that have been trading for a while fall for this. If your answer is 1, you are correct. If your answer is 2, so quite some few persons typing 2, you are wrong. 10 a.m. Nigerian time means that you'll be in London session, right? And here you have Euro. Because you have Euro, irrespective of what the other currency is, you just need to have one of the pairs in London. So let's say Euro USD is the best. If you are trading AUD JPY around 10 a.m. Nigerian time, there won't be volume in the market, right? And let me explain that concept of volume, because this is a newbie class. Let me explain the concept of volume. Which of these markets is the best place you would want to go and buy your produce from? Market A, where you have only 10 persons selling that product, or market B, where you have 100 persons selling that product you want to go and buy. Which of these 2 markets will be the best market for you to go to if you want to buy a product? Where would you rather go to? Yes, you would rather go to market B. Why? Because there is competition in that market. There's a tendency that you get it at a better price, and you can move around. There will be varieties and the like. The same thing in the Forex market. The same thing when you are trading. You want to go to the place where you have more people, more things happening at the same time. That is where you want to go to trade. This is seems a little bit advanced, but I'm adding it in the beginners newbies class because this knowledge was an aha moment for me while I was trading. I'm going to go a little bit deep right now, even though it's a newbie class. I'll just show you, justify these things I just said. I'm going to justify it for you. Then we'll move on with our lecture for today. Here on my screen, you would notice some lines. This horizontal line you are seeing, the horizontal lines you are seeing shows the Asia session, right? Asia, that is the guys in New York, the guys in Australia and the like. Sorry, the guys in Tokyo and the guys in Australia, the like. this was when they started trading. This was when they woke up. That was their 8 o'clock, technically. And this was when they ended. So in between this box was when they ended the market, right? When they closed shop for that day. Now, I want you to notice something here. I'm going to call up that same pair we used as an example. Let's say Euro USD, right? Notice the distance moved. Short distance, right? And notice the distance moved after they close. You see, you have more people in the market trading Euro USD when the guys in Europe are awake more than the people trading it when they are asleep. Same thing happened here, right? When they are asleep, which is the Asia session, just few. The volume is not much. But look at when the guys in Europe are awake. See that? Large volume, right? So I'm trying to say you want to be trading when the people using your currency, the currency of interest, are awake, are kicking. That is the best time for you to want to trade, right? The last thing I'm going to say on this page is peak volatility. Can you notice something here? Do you notice that there's a time overlap between Frankfurt and London? There's 7 a.m., then 8 a.m. So between 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., there is a time overlap between these two markets, right? Also, between New York and London, there's also one time overlap. London closes at 4 p.m. New York opens at 1 p.m. There's an overlap of 3 hours between London and New York. During those times, you see more volume of people. We call it volatility. Volatility is high. Let's say you have 1,000 persons trading in the market per session, right? So let's say we have 1,000 persons in Germany, 1,000 persons in London, just for the sake of explanation. At 7 a.m., between 7 to 8 a.m., you have only 1,000 persons. But between 8 to 3, you have 2,000 persons. And then between 1 to 4, you have 2,000 persons. In fact, at some point, you have more than 2,000. Between 1 to 3, you have 3,000 persons. Then between 1 to 4, you have 2,000 persons, and then it begins to drop. Then here again, between 11 p.m., between 12 a.m. to 7 a.m., you have 2,000 persons. So again, I'm giving you peak periods where you can trade. It will come in handy as we move on in the discussion. Right, so let's move on to the next point we want to. We've spoken about best time to trade, and we've spoken about time zones. The next thing I'll be going to is strong versus weak currencies. So yesterday, one of us here, Mr. Abua, asked, how do you know when to buy or when to sell? 1 minute. All right, I'm back. We want to talk about strong and weak currencies. And that will be the first step, the first answer. There are several answers I will give to when do you know, how do you know when to buy, and how do you know when to sell, right? I'll be giving you one answer today, and we'll be discussing other answers subsequently, right? We'll be looking at this particular chart here, this particular slide. Now, I want you to imagine there's something we used to call jangilova those days. We call it is a seesaw. So imagine that you have this triangle, and on that triangle you have this, right? I want you to imagine that this is a right pointed arrow. It's an arrow pointed to the right, right? Imagine that this is a seesaw. I need to even make that. Yeah, imagine this is a seesaw. It's called seesaw in English. If the strengths are similar, if you have something here, A and B, and the strength of A and B are similar, or their weaknesses are similar, what will happen is that this plywood here, or this rod, right pointed arrow rod, will be flat. It will neither go up nor down. It will neither swing to the left or to the right. But let's go to the right-hand side of the chart. Let's say that A is stronger than B. What happens? This right pointed arrow will point upwards, right? Because it will swing downwards at the left, and this, imagine this is a right pointed arrow, right? It will be pointing upwards. It will be pointing upwards. I'm going to ask a question, and I want only the newbies to answer this. From our explanation yesterday, when something is going to go up, what do we do as traders? We can only do two things as traders: to buy or sell. The newbies, please answer the question. What do we do when we know that price is going to go up? What do we do? Only the newbies answer the question, please. We buy. When we know that price is going to go up, from our lecture yesterday, we buy. Now remember, okay, I'll come back to that. Now, of course, if A is weaker than B, the opposite will happen, right? That right pointed arrow, the right pointed arrow will point downwards. And that means we're anticipating that price will fall. Remember, I told you we're trading currency pairs. So you could replace A and B with currency pairs, any of them. Let's say GBP and USD. So if GBP is stronger, uh-oh.
You don't.
So if GBP is stronger, we should be buying GBP USD. If GBP is weaker, we should be selling GBP USD. If GBP and USD are similar in strength, we should just let them be and not trade. That's what we're trying to say. So if you can find a way, look at, okay, so here we have it in pairs. So let's say we have USD card. If we have USD card and USD is stronger, price is going up, it means we should be buying USD card. And when you come here, you have Euro USD, it means we should be, and USD is stronger than Euro, it means we should be selling Euro USD. Or conversely, if Euro is weaker than USD, we should be selling. Same thing here, right? If AUD is stronger than USD, you buy AUD USD. If JPY is stronger than USD, you sell JPY, you sell USD JPY. Again, remember this is a newbie class. I'm laying some foundation. We will merge all these concepts together as we move closer to the end of the program. Your duty is to try to understand them individually before we merge them together. Right, so I've been able to discuss strong versus weak currencies, and then we'll come to use them later on. But let me just whet your appetite a little. One moment. Just a moment, sorry. Just a moment, just to help you understand the concepts. All right, just a moment. Let's see if it's going to come up. Currency. All right. The internet is not bringing up what I want to show you guys. So we'll proceed with what we have. The next thing we want to talk about is pips and lots. That's another concept that a newbie needs to quickly understand as we proceed. Pips and lots. All right, so here you are on my screen. We have Euro USD. If you want to trade and trade profitably or effectively, there are certain things you must know. And one of them is units. So let's say you are trading in Nigerian naira and cement, like I said, you must understand that 100 kobo make 1 naira, something like that. You must understand all those breakdowns. You must understand units. Aha. I think what I wanted to show initially just came up. What I wanted to show initially just came up. So just give me some minute. I want to show you something that might just help you understand the concept I was trying to explain. It seems yep. Okay, here on my screen, we have base. The base currency here is yellow. And the quote currency here is green. Here we have Euro USD. We have Euro and we have USD. Let's come back to this. Let's come back to this. So here we have Euro USD. You can see it here. Now, my question is this. When Euro is weaker than USD, what do you want to do? You want to sell. Look at this chart. Euro is the yellow one. USD is the green one. Look at this line, at this intersection. USD crossed upwards while Euro was pointing downwards. That means what? At this point, let me put a line there. At that point, what happened? USD became stronger than Euro. When USD becomes stronger than Euro, what should you be doing? You should be selling. And what can you see? You can see price coming downwards, right? So that is the use of knowing currency strength. And I'll be showing you guys one simple one before we finish this program, how you could predict, well, predict not with 100% certainty, but you could predict which currency is going to be stronger than the other. And then you can decide, I should be selling this or I should be buying this, right? So let's move on to the next one, lot size. If you want to buy or you want to sell, you must have a unit of measurement. If you go to the market and ask somebody that I want to buy, let's say, maize, right? The grains, they'll be asking you what quantity do you want to buy, right? So here also in Forex or in trading, we have units of measurement to measure the quantities, and we call them lots. We call them lots, L-O-T, lots. And we have them divided into 3. Well, now more than 3, but we're going to use 3. We have what they call mini, micro, and standard. And I'll delineate on the screen so that you see. So this is standard. Oh, sorry. Annotate. Standard, 1 standard lot. Then we have the next one, 0.1 mini, then 0.01 micro. So this is standard, this is mini, this is micro. 1 standard lot, 1 mini lot, 1 micro lot, right? Now, when you are using 1 standard lot, you are technically controlling $100,000. When you use 1 standard lot, you are technically controlling $100,000. If you use 1 mini lot, you are technically controlling $10,000. And if you use 1 micro lot, you are technically controlling $1,000. So that simply means if you want to buy Euro USD, and let's say we'll be discussing brokers tomorrow, brokers and MT4. So let's say you want to trade, you want to buy Euro USD, and you come to me as a broker, because I'm going to be the middle person, and I'll ask you, what amount in dollars do you want to control? You say 1 micro lot. I simply know that what you want to do is that you want to trade with $1,000. You want to control $1,000. If you say 1 mini lot, it means you want to control $10,000. And if you say 1 standard lot, it means you want to control $100,000. Most retail traders don't have this amount. They don't even have $1,000 to trade with. So how come we have many Forex traders? How are they getting their money? There is another term called leverage, which is what makes Forex trading or most forms of trading very lucrative and also very dangerous. So we have some people called brokers. I will explain brokers tomorrow in detail. But they are middlemen, right? If you are trading Euro USD, let's say you are buying Euro USD, you are buying Euro and selling USD to somebody else. You are selling it to somebody else somewhere in the world. There is somebody that is going to be a middle person between you and that person. And most times they are brokers. And those brokers give us what they call leverage. So if the leverage, let's say you as an individual, you have in your account $100. That's what you have in your account. And you have a broker that gives you a leverage of 1:100. 1:100. That is to, we represent it by, a full column, right? 1:100. That simply means for every $1 you provide, your broker will mark it up to $100. Your broker will mark it up to $100, right? For every dollar you provide, your broker marks it up times 100. So if you have $100 in your account and your broker is marking it up with 1:100, that means you'll be having this amount in your account, 10,000. So even though you have $100, you can technically trade as if you have $10,000, right? And that means you technically on paper can trade 10 micro lots, which is something as 1 mini lot. So means you can go to the market and say, I want to trade 1 micro lot. And 1 micro lot stands for $1,000, but you only have $100 in your account. Your broker will look at your account. What you will see is 10,000. They will say, okay, yes, you can take the trade. Right? It means you can take the trade. The advantage of this is that small traders, people who have $100, $1,000, $50, $200, can trade as if they have $10,000. And that is the lure that brings people to Forex. Because even with $100, you can trade as if you have $10,000. What is the advantage? The advantage is that because you are trading as if you have $10,000, if you trade $10,000, if you trade with $10,000 and you make 1%, or let's say you make 10%, that will mean that you have made a profit of $1,000. Your broker will allow you to walk home with this $1,000, even though what you have in what you actually deposited was $100. Right? Your broker will allow you to walk home with that $1,000. That is the big advantage of leverage. However, it has a downside. If you trade and you are losing, your broker will not allow you to lose more than $100. If you start trading and the trade is going against you, that is, you are losing money. Once you've lost, like, let's say $90, the broker will close the trade without seeking your permission. And the broker will withdraw the leverage they gave you. And now you might just find out that you have only $10 left and you can't even take any trade again. The broker gives you leverage to be able to trade more than you own. But you can't lose the broker's money. You can only lose your own money. So once you start losing and you begin to lose to a point that you might soon exhaust your own contribution, you'll be margined out. They call it a margin call. I won't cover that in this class. Baby Peeps will cover it for you. Right? So again, we've discussed lots. We have 3 types: the standard lot, which means you are controlling 100,000, the mini lot, which means you are controlling 10,000, and the micro lot, which means you are controlling 1,000. But don't be scared. If you don't have $1,000, you can still trade in the Forex market. All you need to do is look for a broker that gives you leverage. In fact, we have some brokers that give leverage as high as 1:1,000. And that means if you have $100 in your account, you will be trading like you have $100,000. That is massive. It means you can use your $100 to make another $100. You can use your $100 to make 1,000. You can use your $100 to even make 10,000, right? That is on PayPal. Remember I told you, as a startup, you basically be losing money. No two ways about it. If you make money, you are lucky. Don't go and sell your property and put it into Forex. You will just lose it. Take some time to learn. So that is why it's easy for almost everybody to trade Forex, because of that term, leverage, right? The last thing we'll cover before we call it a wrap today is lots. Is pips, right? So on the right-hand side of my screen, you can see something like this, 1.0. Let me even use, now let me go to a lower time frame so we can see it clearly. Let's say 5 minutes. Yep. Okay. So I mark out this. Yeah, I want you to see this. This is 1.04821. Now, for the popular pairs we mentioned, there are two ways you can calculate a pip. A pip is the fourth digit after the decimal point. The fourth digit after the decimal point. So you have this as your pip. Right? So this last one is called a pipette. We don't consider it. We only count 4 points, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. This fourth one is the one we consider, and we call it the pip. We call it the pip, right? So if you have 1 pip becomes 0.0001. 5 pips will be 0.0005. Something like that, right? This last digit is called the pip. So in this case, we have 1.0482. The pip here is that last digit there, right? And you use this for every popular currency pair aside JPY, aside the JPY, because the JPY has a different way of calculating its pip. It looks at the second digit after the decimal point. So for a JPY, the pip will be 0.01. This will be 1 pip. 5 pips will be 0.05. This is for JPY. Let me give you an example of what I mean, right? I'll give you an example. I've just given you an example of Euro USD. Let's go to Euro JPY. EUR JPY. Euro JPY. Again, look at the right-hand side. You notice the number here is 143.750, right? So we have 143.750. For JPY, the pip is the second digit after the decimal point, right? So this is 143.75. So 1 pip, again, like I said, is going to be 0.01. 5 pips is going to be 0.025. 10 pips is going to be 0.10. 100 pips is going to be 1.00. So I'm going to ask a question in the chat box, and I want the newbies to answer this question. If we are looking at JPY pairs, right? In this case, we have Euro JPY here. How many pips do we have? How many pips is this? 0.62 will amount to how many pips? Put your answer in the chat box. For the newbies only. For the new pips, for the newbies only, 0.62 is what I wrote. How many pips is this? Somebody said 2 pips. Nope. 0.02. Nope. 1 pip. Nope. It means I did a poor job of explaining this. Let me explain again. It's a newbie class, so we'll take it slow. 1 pip for a JPY is the second digit after the decimal point. So 1 pip will be 0.01. 2 pips will be 0.02. 5 pips will be 0.05. Right? So what is 0.62? How many pips is that? How many pips is that? How many pips is that? Newbies? All of these things are looking like Greek to you guys. Yep. But by the time we get to MT4 and I'm asking you to find your stop loss, you have to calculate your pips. I need more answers from newbies. Somebody still saying 2 pips. No. This is 62 pips. Yes. 62 pips. That's what it is. 62 pips is what we have on the screen. 62 pips is what we have on the screen. Now you might be wondering, what is the essence of this? I'll give you a good example. I'm going to put 2 horizontal lines on the screen. So we have a red line, and then we have a green line. Let's say you are in the business of buying. You want to buy something. You bought here. This is your entry. You bought at that point, and you got out here. This is your exit. To the right-hand side of my screen, you can see the value that corresponds to your entry and exit. This red box shows the price at which you entered, and this green box here shows the price at which you exited. For emphasis, what I have here is 143.63. Because this is a JPY pair, I don't care about that last digit. Why? Because the pip for the JPY starts at the second digit after the decimal point, which is at this 63, right? It stops at 3. So this one will be 143.76. 143.76. That is the price here. Now you were buying and you came all the way from here to this point. What profit have you made? Remember, we are traders. We are out to make profit. The profit you have made is the difference between this price and this price, right? So that's going to be 7.6 minus 6.3, and that will give you what? 13 pips. So what you made is 13 pips. You see that? You bought something at this price and you got out at that price. Let me give you a common example. The example we gave yesterday. You bought cement at 2,000 and you sold it at 2,500. What profit have you made? You made 500. Right? The same thing here. You bought at 143.63 You sold it at 143.76. What profit have you made? You've made 13 pips. You've made 13 pips. That is the profit you've made. That's how we calculate our profit in trading. So if 1 pip is equal to $10, then it means you have made $130. You get the point now. That's how we calculate it. Right? If 1 pip is equals to 1 naira, it simply means you've made 13 naira. That's how we calculate our pips. Now, this example I gave you here is for JPY. I know it's been like 5 minutes ago I spoke about the other one, but I'm going to ask you a question. Euro USD. This is Euro USD. I'm going to drop 2 lines as we wrap up, and I want you to give me the answer. Again, this is going to be green. I'm sure you can see the price levels at the right-hand side. For sake of emphasis, in case you did not see it, I'll put it out. This is 1.0517. Remember, I said, I don't want to preempt. Let me see if you got what I said. And this one here is 1.06267. This might be too confusing.
5.2, sir.
5.2. What is that? What is 5.2? Okay, 5.2. Okay, I get your point now. I get your point. Thank you. 5.2 here. Okay, great. So, newbies, last question for the night. What is the pip difference? What distance have we moved here? What profit have you made? If you are buying, you entered from here and you got out here. Exit. What price difference or what profit have you made? Put your answer in the chat box or mute yourself and let's talk. I want to be a Forex trader. I want to be a Forex trader. We've started. Ifeanyi said 9 pips. Abua said 9 pips. Isaac, 11 pips. The magic is happening. If you subtract this using a calculator, I'll do it right before you. Number one, before we even go far, remember this is something that is not JPY. Every other thing that is JPY, you use 2. This is not JPY. And JPY, the pip is the 4th digit after the decimal. So first thing you're going to do is 1, 2, 3, 4. You cancel this out. 1, 2, 3, 4. You cancel this out. It means what we are going to be calculating is going to be, we'll be looking at 1.0526 minus 1.0517. And that gives us 0.0009. That is 9 pips. Right? That is 9 pips. That is how we calculate our pips. So if somebody said, oh, I made 9 pips profit, right? The person just means that I entered at a place and got out 9 pips away. So if you now want to calculate how much the person has made, you now say, okay, what lot size did you use? Right? So I forgot to mention something, and I must say it so that I won't make the next class too long. We said one standard lot controls 100,000. And technically, if you are using USD, one standard lot per pip will give you $10. One mini lot controls 10,000. Per pip on USD pairs, of course, it will give you $1. And 0.01 controls 1,000. And per pip will give you 10 cents, right? So if somebody bought from here and got out here, and the person used one standard lot, that person will simply have made $90. If the person used one mini lot, the person will simply have made $9. Right? If the person used a micro, the person would have used 90 cents, right? 0.90. All right, so that ends our session for today. Tomorrow we'll be looking at more at brokers and MT4. If you want to attend tomorrow's class, I would advise you go to your Play Store and download MT4. There's another one called MT5. Don't download this. For now, download MT4, or you see it as Meta Trader 4. Meta Trader 4. Go to your Play Store and download it. We'll be doing some practicals. I'll take you through every point of the MT4 on phone. Then we'll also look at almost all the points, not every point on laptop. And then by the time we go to day 4, we'll go into candlestick anatomy and begin to look at the charts. So here we'll call it a wrap for tonight. Have a wonderful night, and again we'll meet tomorrow 8 p.m. Invite your friends and come along. Let's stop the recording right now.